You're watching Byline Wilmington on CBS 10 WILM. Here's your host, Don Ansell.
Okay, we're back. Tony Rivenbark, Executive Director of Thalian Hall Center for the Performing Arts, is our very special guest talking about the spectacular building and the renovation that's going on. There was a time when there was serious discussion when Thalian Hall had fallen into disrepair, and you said it was shabby looking. There was talk about demolishing the structure, was there not?
Well, in the 30s, there was an effort it was basically the stimulus of the day through the Works Progress Administration. The city had gotten some funds to stabilize the building, to do some things to the infrastructure, particularly the City Hall portion, and some work to Thalian Hall. And one of the things was the public library at that time was located on the second floor of City Hall, what is now the City Council chamber, the ballroom. And they were putting in an elevator to provide access to that second floor. And they were excavating on the north wall of the building. Well, no one realized at that point that the building sits on top of a sand dune. It's one of 7 sand dunes in downtown Wilmington, like the 7 hills of Rome. We have the 7 sand dunes of Wilmington. Well, this building sits on top of that, and they were excavating, there's no problem with sitting on top of sand, but when you dig, you need to shore up. And they didn't realize how volatile that sand was. It shifted and the entire north wall collapsed of the building. This was in January of 1938.
And so there was talk of
that point, then said, okay, now what are we going to do? And so there was a big debate about preservation, one of the first major debates about preservation in the city. And there were a number of other studies to try to figure out, was the building stable? Was it going to survive? But eventually, after many, I think it was almost 7 studies that came out, it showed that the building itself was structurally sound. It's just when you dig next to it, shore it up. Right, and so additional funds were found, and the building was preserved. But it was during that debate that some said, well, maybe let's look at this as an opportunity. We could build a new theater, we could build a new library, we could build a new city hall. All good thoughts.
But imagine what we would have lost.
Because the people felt that, the building wasn't safe. But the building was sound. So in the end, it all worked out.
So you're in a major renovation.
Yes.
Choosing the firm, the people that are going to do something like this, how do you do that? It's such a charge to give someone.
I started on this 10 years ago.
Right.
This renovation started 10 years ago. And many, many things have happened over the course of that. Of course, we also have plans for an addition onto the building, which we're not doing at this go-around, but we do have still the plans for a new playhouse on the corner of 4th and Princess. But we decided to shift our focus to the renovation and put the other on hold because of the changing
Who's
economy.
doing the renovation?
The company or the
yeah,
the company is Constructive Building Solutions, which is a local building company. So this money is going into people's hands in the community. This is Thalian Hall is a stimulus.
What's it going to cost?
The project is about $3.6 million.
And how is it funded?
It's funded through a combination of city funds, which is the majority of the funding, and then funds from community donors, givers.
We're going to talk about how you can support this project before we...
Because we're still raising money. I mean, the project's always moving faster than I can fund it.
Right.
Because there's equipment to buy, the decorative painting. We're getting ready to start on that very soon.
That gorgeous, intricate proscenium arch is going to be
all repainted.
The
entire auditorium is going to be repainted from top to bottom.
One of the most dramatic changes in the renovation is the hydraulic orchestra pit lift.
Right, and that is primarily there to expand the stage. What we have seen is that with the different theater companies, the Opera House Theater Company, Thalian Association, the different groups that use the building, who put on shows there, more and more they use a 4-stage in front of the pit, and
they cover the pit to extend the stage and bring it closer to the audience.
And we deal with something like 2.3 events a day in the complex, so we need to be able to do things quickly so that we can get maximum usage. So by this new hydraulic pit, we will be able to add 10 feet to the stage with the push of a button. And that will give us 45 feet of depth from the edge of the stage to the back wall, which is pretty good.
We have about 3 minutes left. I want to put up on the screen a picture of something that was found when you hit dirt.
This is toward the back of the auditorium.
Yeah, there's that's dirt, but you found some bones, actually.
Yes, we did. And it wasn't really surprising to us.
There
Here they are. We found some pre-Columbian bones back in the 1989 renovation.
Okay, and do we have any idea of
But we thought
how old
we had
these
gotten
are?
them all. They could be as old as 500 BC.
Oh, goodness gracious.
We have found some shards of pottery which an anthropologist at the university has taken a look at and said they could be anywhere from 500 BC to 500 AD, but very early.
Very.
The indigenous people in this area, evidently, and I'm not an expert in this field at all, but what I have been told is that they moved around a lot. They were somewhat nomadic. They did a lot of shellfishing, et cetera. And probably their encampment was on the shore of the river. But when someone died, they would bury them on top of a large sand hill.
Makes sense.
And
this is one of the seven.
This is one of the 7 hills.
Before we run out of time, I want to put up on the screen a place that folks can help to support Thalian Hall. You are in the process of a very generous matching grant, raising money for a matching grant. So every dollar that folks give will be matched up through December 31st only. So this is the 29th.
We have a matching grant of $50,000, which must be matched by December 31st. We're very close to getting there. So this in the end of the year giving, every dollar becomes 2. And we are going to have, we have also...
So call, pledge support.
Call, pledge support.
Yeah.
Send in your dollars. You will help us buy that equipment to put the icing on the cake. With the new seats, the new interior, the new equipment, it's going to be a great theater.
I said it's the
for
29th.
all of
Today
us.
is the 27th, so you have just a few days left to do that. Before we go, and we got like 30 seconds, are there ghosts in Thalian Hall? Goodness knows we hear enough.
Outside of me,
Urban legend is there are ghosts in Thalian Hall.
I've never heard of a historic theater that didn't have ghosts. I think there's so many.
Have you had personal experience with?
We've talked. They didn't talk back, but I've talked to them. I occasionally ask them for help, and usually they come and help.
Thank you for joining us.
What a pleasure.
Yeah, this is a great holiday weekend. Support Thalian Hall, one of the great treasures that we have in Wilmington, North Carolina. Next week we're going to talk about, everybody makes New Year's resolution to lose weight. There's a competition going on among cities. It's called here, Lose Tons Wilmington. We'll talk about it next week on Byline Wilmington. Till then, I'm Don Ansell. Have a great holiday weekend.
You've been watching Byline Wilmington on CBS 10 WILM. Join us every Sunday morning at 11 as we explore the issues that concern you.
We actually have